This is a St. Augustine's College English Assessment by Van Kilpatrick. In this video, I'll be showing you some examples of crime fiction and breaking them down for you. First of all, we will be looking at Hound of the Baskervilles. This is a novel written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and was published in 1902. In the book, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson investigate a murder in Dartmoor where people think a man was killed by a supernatural hound and think another death will occur. Some conventions of crime in this book are murder of Sir Charles Baskerville and Selden and the attempted murder of Sir Henry Baskerville. The detective was Sherlock Holmes. His sidekick was Dr. Watson. Some suspects were Mr. Barrymore, Selden, Mr. Stapleton. A red herring was Mr. Barrymore going to the window late at night. The criminal was Mr. Stapleton, and the motive was to access the Baskerville family fortune as he was a Baskerville. The setting was in the late 1800s in Grimpen Mire and Tracy Combe and can be described as wet and foggy. There isn't much actual change into the characters other than some were dead or arrested. Selden was dead, Sir Charles was dead, and Mr. Stapleton was arrested. We will now be looking at an episode of Poirot Triangle at Rhodes. This is a story originally written by Agatha Christie and was published in 1969. In it, Poirot goes on a holiday to Rhodes and meets two couples and a new friend. About halfway through the episode, the wife of Mr. Valentino is poisoned and Mr. Gold is blamed for the murder. Poirot knows that this man is innocent and has to find out who the real killer is. Some of the conventions of crime in this episode are crime, the murder. The detective is Hercule Poirot. One clue is the poison found in Mr. Gold's jacket. The red herring was Mr. Gold. Witness was almost everyone except for Poirot. The criminals were Mr. Valentino and Mrs. Gold. Their motive was the fact they had an affair. Suspects were almost everyone except for Poirot. The setting for the episode was a tropical Mediterranean island resort in the 1930s that was largely populated by Italians. Again, much like Hound of the Baskervilles, no relevant character developments other than who died or got arrested. Miss Valentino died, Mr. Valentino got arrested, Mrs. Gold was arrested, and Mr. Gold was set free. Finally, we are going to be looking at Lamb to the Slaughter. In this Roald Dahl story, a pregnant woman murders her husband with a leg of lamb after he tells her he wants a divorce. She covers her tracks by putting the leg in the oven and going to the store to buy some food for dinner. She then goes home, calls the police, and she pretends to mourn over her dead husband. She eventually convinces the police investigating the area for clues to eat the leg of lamb. Some conventions of crime in this story was the crime, which was murder, the criminal, Mary Malone, the wife, the victim, Patrick Malone, the husband, an alibi, which was Mary going to the store, and dramatic irony, the police that were looking for the murder weapon and they got rid of the evidence without even knowing about it. The setting for this story was in the early 1950s in an English town and inside a simple house. Unlike the other two stories, there is actually some important character development here. Mary Maloney became a calculating, manipulative killer, and Patrick Malone was dead. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. From Van Kilpatrick, who did this stuff.